So you're thinking about doing van life. That's a cool idea, man. Yeah, I was thinking about it too. So the question I have for you, I guess, is why? Why do you want to do it? I remember I wanted to do it for a wee long time. I just thought it'd be cool to like just hop in a car, just drive places, see things. Shoot, stop paying rent. Rent's expensive, isn't it? Has darn rent, and those landlords, I don't really care for them. I could just get rid of them. That would be pretty sweet. Yeah, just living in the car, living in the van, just to going. Ooh, so wait, why did I stop? Why'd I stop doing it then? It's like this amazing thing, right? It's the dream. Just hop in the car, no mortgage, go wherever. Now I know you're thinking, well, yeah, it's probably difficult because of the bathroom and because, maybe someone will knock on the car. And, it's not really those things. I did it for a little over half a year and I got the knock. As far as I was aware, I'm a pretty rough sleeper. As far as I was aware, I only got it once, and this was pretty late in my van life career. So you go through a phase where at first you're super excited and you're also, very paying attention to the rules. But at some point, you're just tired. And so this is pretty late in my van life career. And I hear a knock and I'm not done sleeping. And so imagine you're just in your house and someone's knocking on your door and you're sleeping. And you're like, why are you knocking on my house? Go away. Not right now. So at some point when this is your house, you will feel that way about a knock. You're like, no, not right now. And so my logic is, yeah, if it's a tow truck, I'll wait till I hear the chains and then I'll get up. If it's a police officer, I better hear a siren or some further identification of urgency. I'm just not available with it right now. So I went back to sleep, it went away, and when I woke up, I don't know, I didn't have a ticket, there was nothing wrong. Who knows what it was? It's just like if you have a house. The knock is really not the big problem. I'll tell you what is a little bit of a bigger problem. So when you're up, going out west, which is the best place to be doing the van life, there's a lot of these rules about parking. No vehicles over this height, and there's this thing about street sweeping. And look, when I was on the East Coast, we never swept a street in my life. Never heard of such a thing. In the streets looked fine, if you ask me, but out west, apparently they be street sweeping. And anyways, it's mostly a scam from what I can tell. It's basically so that once a week, they force you to make sure your car is operating, not abandoned. And if you don't follow the rules, they collect a little bit of cash from you. And they're pretty serious about these rules, guys. So you got to pay attention to the signs. So you don't need to worry so much about knocks and stuff like that. It's like, you really just got to worry about reading the signs. Because when they say that every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to precisely 2 p.m., they will be a street sweeping. At 10:01, if you are not moving your vehicle, there is a swarm of cars and people putting tickets on the windshield, and that will be a $70 mistake. And so I have had a time where I wake up a little past my alarm and I'm going into my vehicle and I see the swarm of cars coming, and there's a guy saying, go, 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 because 20 feet away, they're slapping on the tickets. 10:01, I'm rubbing my eyes because I just woke up, driving the vehicle off, saved myself $70. Now, they didn't give a darn that I just slept in the vehicle. They just wanted me to follow the street signs. So that's just an example. The things you think you'd have to worry about, but you actually don't have to worry about them so much. So yeah, you just got to read street signs. It doesn't sound so bad, right? You know how to read, you just set an alarm. So why'd you stop? Why'd you stop doing it? And there's a funny thing about this. There's a funny thing where what you see is like, it's not what you get. You've seen this in movies, guys, right? Like, remember you watch a movie about having a romantic partner or something like this. Remember in the movies, and remember when you finally get one, you're like, this isn't quite like the movies, is it? Yeah. Well, it's like that with everything. Or what you see when you watch the videos on this, see the pictures, or you can just kind of imagine it in your mind. It's quite different. And there are some pretty annoying things you have to deal with. And we can easily ignore those and forget about those. And where I tell you, I quit for a darn reason. It was quite frustrating, and there were much better options for me after a while. And look, I'm so glad I did it. And there were much better options for me after a while. And look, I'm so glad I did it. It was amazing. It was a good time. For as out of spirits, not as a retirement option, not as a destination for lean, for other people to work just fine for them. I think for most people though that are dreaming, envisioning that life, we've probably got the wrong idea of who it's suited for. So it's been over a year since I've done it, stopped doing it, and I could honestly look back, watch videos of van life, and I could think, wow, that looks really cool. I should do that. Or like, wait, I quit for a reason. Okay, so it's not just you, it's not just me before I've done it. It's us all the time. It's kind of a really good skill we have. We can really see all the good things about something. And then all the bad things, we can go like, yeah, sure, but it'll be okay. And honestly, that's probably a good thing. I think humans would have not gone very far if we were pretty practical about all the difficulties we're going to face on all the crazy things we tried to do. Like imagine, I suppose you're sitting in America. Well, you know how your ancestors got there? Well, they got on a freaking boat. They didn't have cell phones or GPS, and they traveled for months. And a lot of people didn't survive. And before that, their ancestors, they got on the boat, or other people, they didn't get to know where they were going. So that's you. You ready to get on the boat, and you don't even know we're freaking going. And that's cool. That's super cool, and that's van life. So you gotta get on the boat, and it's gonna be rough, and it's gonna be bumpy, but you know what? It's gonna sail, and it's gonna land you somewhere. And so it doesn't have to be about the boat ride. The boat ride is getting you somewhere. It's getting you to see new places, getting you to become a new person, new opportunities. What are you talking about, dude? I'm just asking about living in a freaking van. I didn't ask about Christopher Columbus. I agree. But you know what? That's going to be your life when you're in a van, is you're like, I'm just looking for a place to park, and you're going to end up on all these wild different things that you didn't even ask for just to go about your daily life. So if you don't like that sort of thing, if you just want to do what you're trying to do, you shouldn't be living in a vehicle, because anytime you're trying to do something, it's a freaking adventure. And that could be cool. It could turn you into someone that just talks about random things for no reason. And that person is really cool to hang out with by a campfire, but he's not so cool in business meetings. So are you going to be hanging out by a campfire, or are you going to be teaching at business meetings? I'd rather hang out by a campfire, but also I liked air conditioning a lot. And that became a problem. So what would I tell you thinking about van life? I don't think I can talk you out of this, man. I can't talk you out of it completely. But what I could do, maybe set a more realistic expectation, and maybe give you some alternatives, right? Because I get it, man. Rent sucks. I don't want to pay rent anymore. At least not American rent. There's a hint. There are some other countries you can go to where rent is not so expensive. And if you're crazy enough to live out of your vehicle, well, you should consider that you might be crazy enough to just leave the country. Maybe learn a new language. It's possible. Spoiler alert, I didn't learn a new language. That's crazy. But you can leave the country, and it will be another set of challenges, pros and cons. It's all pros and cons. That's why they call it a pro master, you know. That's not why I made that up. But you're welcome, Dodge, for marketing your vehicle like that. But realistically, like, who's buying a Sprinter? They're really expensive. If you are thinking about buying a Sprinter, you should just rent one, and you should just try it out first. If you have that kind of money to spend on the van life, that's a pro tip. There are some things I really notice about it. And so really the best way to do this is if you can get yourself in a situation where you have some sort of home base, like you could park it outside of a friend's house, someone with some land, you could get yourself like this little patch of land out somewhere for cheap. If you could have a home base, that's the way to do it. Because the longer you do it, the less cool it is. But for short periods of time, it's freaking so cool. It's so cool. And you know this because you've been on a camping trip or something, right? And you know you don't need much, and that's really cool for a weekend, maybe even a week, right? But even, I think you could imagine, even if you had like a cabin or something, like, you know, the whole thrill of being out in the middle of nowhere, it goes down, right, over time, and pretty quickly, right? And so, of course, with a van nomad lifestyle, you can change which middle of nowhere you're in, and so that makes it more exciting. But that does take a lot of work, a lot of driving, and that's okay. You've accepted that. But having some sort of home base would be really cool. But I know that defeats all the main benefits. Then I gotta pay for that. I don't want a mortgage. I don't want to have so have the main benefits. Then I gotta pay for that. I don't want a mortgage. I don't want to have people that I have connections with. Oh, sounds exhausting. I know. So, realistically, what can you do? What can you do? Well, if you can get your van thing real cheap, like cheap to the point where it's basically just your car, you know, because you're going to have a car anyways, then that's a good situation to be in. So you don't want to think of it as like replacing your house. You want to think of it as just replacing your car. Now that's going to give you a lot of flexibility because then you can find a way to save on your housing cost. Because now you can just maybe even just get a little apartment, a little room, share it with somebody in the middle of a small city in the middle of nowhere, right? So now you are saving on housing, and maybe only do that for half a year or something, right? But if you can make it so that you're not trying to put your house money into the car, that you can just replace your car money with something that's slightly livable, like slightly better than a tent, just slightly, and that's the way to go. And it doesn't sound cool, it doesn't look cool on Instagram, but those things that look cool on Instagram, they don't feel nearly as cool as they look. It's really the difference between a little car with some camping supplies and one of these vans. I had one of the vans. It's not as much as you think. It's really not that far off. I did be camping with the truck. I did be camping with the van. The van is better. But compared to a house, it's like such a small difference, you know, quite a small difference. Now, if you did yourself like an actual trailer or something, that might be different, but good luck parking that. Okay, so I know I'm really getting off the rails here. And the truth is, the main point is, I know now you've heard way too many positives. I know all of this information. And when I think back in my own mind, I could honestly question, why did I stop doing this? I really stopped for a reason. So even if you have access to all of the true downsides, which I do, I live them. I quit because of them. I can easily forget them because of the allure, because of how nice it seems. I can literally fool myself, trick myself into doing it again. And it might for a short period of time. But I mean, just so quickly forget. So all I'm trying to do is just offer you a way to conveniently put in a reminder of the reality that it's mad. All of the nice things, if we know about the nice things, we're really good at imagining those, at looking for those. So we just gotta have to just force yourselves to trickle in a little bit of reminder of the difficulties. So that's what I'm here to do. And I'm not trying to sell your course or sell your van. Wouldn't be a good van salesman, would I? All I'm just doing, just being that guy hanging outside of the van dealership saying, hey, I just sold mine. Anyways, hope that helps. Thanks for watching and watch again, baby.